Hello, welcome to episode 19 of the Eldenwood Craft Podcast. My name's Emma and this is my podcast all about my crafty life. It's Sunday, December the 2nd today, and I thought I'd take the opportunity while I had a quiet weekend to come and say hello to you. It's just after lunch. The family are around, so you might hear some noises, there might be some interruptions, who knows. Very big thank you to those of you who have watched before, and thank you very much for coming back. I really appreciate it. And if this is your first time visiting Eldenwood Craft, then a very warm welcome to you. I hope you enjoy what you see. If you do, please do give me the thumbs up. That helps to spread the news of the podcast around YouTube a bit, I believe. And if you don't want to miss out on future episodes, then hit the subscribe button down below and you will get notified when I record again. Show notes for the podcast, as usual, will be in the description bar underneath this video, and that also contains details of where you can find me online, so links to my Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, to my website, my email address, all those sorts of things are in the description bar. Today's episode I'm hoping will be a little bit shorter than last time. I have not got a huge amount of knitting content to talk to you about today, but I did want to come in and say hello because I've got a few announcements that I need to make and some news of a giveaway that is a seasonal giveaway, so it really needs to be done today. So we will, I don't have any finished objects to show you. I did finish my Marie Curie socks that I showed you last time, but they've been sent away to Sarah for her Marie Curie project, sorry. So I don't have those to show you today. There is a picture of them on my Ravelry, get my words out, Emma. There is a picture of them on my Ravelry project page, should you wish to go and have a look at them. Works in progress. I'm only going to show you one today. I have got one pair of socks on the needles. Excuse me, I've been full of cold, so my voice might sound a bit croaky. So apologies for that. I am getting much better though. I've got one pair of socks on the needles, but I can't find the project bag at the moment, so I haven't been working on socks. And I was due to cast on a new pair of socks yesterday, but didn't get round to it. It was such a busy day yesterday. The socks I want to cast on are these beautiful socks by Hannah of Yarnia Designs. They are the Akern socks, and that is a picture of them. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'll try and edit the podcast so that as many of the coughs are lost as possible, but I don't want to edit it too much. The yarn that I'm going to use is this beautiful skein of Sweet Skein O'Mine. There's the ball band. Oops. Sweet Skein O'Mine. It's a Canadian yarn that my lovely friend Kelly of the Celtic Cast On podcast sent to me earlier this year, and it's gorgeous greys and blues. You can see it there. I think that will look lovely as a pair of socks. My ball winder is in significant need, it's in serious need of an upgrade. I think that's really messy, isn't it? It's a shame because the cakes look so lovely when they're wound up, but there we go. Anyway, so that's knitting that I will show you next time I podcast. The only other real work in progress I've got going at the moment, I think, other than things like my blankets, which I have made some good progress on today, but I'm not showing it to you today. I'll probably show it to you next time. But the other thing that I wanted to show you is the progress that I've made on my Miromesnil jumper. I'm just getting it untangled here. So this was the jumper that I had started last time. There's a picture of it, and I'm knitting this version here. It's by Cleonis, who is Helen Vincent, and I am knitting it out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the sport weight version in the Dove Heather colourway. Even though it's a really grey day today, I'm sitting quite close to a window and that is blowing out a little bit, but you can see it. Last time I podcast, I can't quite remember. Had I split for the sleeves? I don't think I had. I think I was sort of maybe still up here on the yoke. Well, I've made some good progress since then. I have been not quite knitting monogamously, but this has been the main thing that I've been knitting on. And I'm now down to the cast off at the bottom. The cast off calls for a tubular cast off or bind off, so that's something new that I have learnt to do. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. If you don't know the tubular cast off, you might have heard people say that it's the bind off or cast off that looks like it sort of continues over the other side of the work. I'll show you on that side. So that was a good new technique to learn how to do. I'm still binding off, still casting off. It's taking a long time. There are a lot of stitches on here. I'm just over halfway done, and that's taken me a couple of evenings so far, not of constant knitting. But yes, I'm really pleased with this. Let me tuck the ends in. It's a really pretty, simple jumper. All the detail is in this very subtle increased yoke, and then the pleated section just under the bust. So that will be really pretty when it's all done. And then I've just got the arms to or the sleeves to knit. So it's a really simple jumper to knit. It's a good jumper if you are not very experienced at knitting jumpers. There's not a lot of technique in it. You need to be able to increase to do the yoke, and there's a bit of increase at the pleated section, and obviously the tubular bind off if you don't know how to do that, but there are loads of technique videos on YouTube that will help you, I can tell you that from experience. So once the sleeves are done, that will be it finished. I had said in my last podcast that I hope to get it finished for Christmas. That's looking like a distinct possibility, so that would be really good. What else can I tell you about it? I'm just looking at my show notes. I think that's about it really. The yarn, if you've never used the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes before, it's a really nice yarn. I really like it and I would definitely use it again. It's not scratchy. Well, it's a little bit scratchy, maybe not very much at all. I have sensitive skin and this is not going to prickle me too much. While I'm talking about sensitive skin and prickling, let me tell you about what I'm wearing. You may recognise this as the Carrade shawl that I knit a few months ago, patterned by Paulina Carew of Lena Knits. I've worn this an awful lot. It is the softest, most delicious thing to have around your neck. apart from maybe a kitten or an Angora rabbit. It is so soft. It's wearing really well. I was a little bit anxious about how well the yarn would hold up because it is so soft, but so far so good. It's really warm, I love wearing it, and on a grey horrible day like today it's perfect. Right, that is it for all the knitting content, which is not bad for 10 minutes. What I want to show you now is my incoming. Where's my bag of incoming stuff? Just very briefly, let me tell you about some lovely, lovely new things that have come my way in this bag. So the first thing to show you is it's been folded up in my bag waiting to show you, so it's a little bit creased, but a nice iron will sort that out. That's a beautiful small sock size project bag from the amazing Alex Collins. If you don't know Alex Collins, I would definitely recommend checking out her Instagram feed. She posts the most beautiful pictures of her works in progress. She knits and she makes these gorgeous bags. I've got another one of her bags that I bought earlier this year, and I just love it. And also Alex has a podcast. I'll put the links down below to where you can find that. It's a really, really lovely podcast. She is a beautiful knitter. She makes some gorgeous projects, and her podcasts are full of lovely bags like this. I think she screen prints the images on her bags herself from her home studio, and she's just got a beautiful eye for detail and has got a really nice aesthetic about everything that she does. So this is a new style or a new print, and I just had to get one of those because I love her stuff so much. Right, the rest of the incoming is some yarn to show you. What shall I show you first? Let me show you this. Actually, no, let me take it all out. I have treated myself, yarn down, treated myself this month because why not? First off, let me just put all that to one side. First off, I went to Yarnporium. Not long after I last recorded, I think. It was at the beginning of November, and I went on the Saturday. I took a photography workshop with Yarnia and Cindy, who are the two Finnish ladies behind Liner magazine. It was an amazing morning. I learnt so much, and I really am looking forward to putting my newfound skills into practice. I'm hoping to pick up a new camera very soon, and I can't wait to get practicing. So watch out for some new and improved photography on my Instagram feed over the next few months, hopefully. It was really inspiring, and to hear them talk about how they put together their images and how they photograph their images from a technical perspective was so interesting, and the two of them were just lovely people. So that was a really good morning, and I hadn't gone to Yarnporium with the intention of buying anything. My two main reasons for going, firstly the photography workshop, and secondly just to have a chat with some people. And it was lovely. Met up with some friends there, met up with some of the Socks on the Beach crowd, Nikki and Rachel, and there are loads of other people there. I'm not going to list them because I will forget them, but hello to everyone who saw there. But it's a yarn show, and it's very difficult to go to a yarn show and not buy anything. So I treated myself to 2 skeins of yarn, and these are they. Beautiful. They're singles, and they are from, you can see, Bien Aimee. Label's blowing out a little bit. So these are That's the washing instructions. It's all in French. This is the first time I've read the labels, so I'm just trying to work out what they say. Here we go. So it's their merino singles base, 366 metres, 400 yards, and it's 100% merino. That colourway is the Cassiopeia, and that colour is Rust, and I just thought they went beautifully together. I stood with Rachel at the stall that was selling these. I think it was a yarn story, and I ummed and ahed about so many different combinations, but fell for these two instead. I was very tempted by a blue to go with that grey, but I thought, no, let's break out of my comfort zone and go for something completely different. That yarn, the grey, I haven't noticed before the complexity of it. It's beautiful. So I don't know what these, well, I do know what these will become. These will become a shawl of some variety, but I don't know which one yet. I haven't got specific plans for it. So that was those two. Then I thought that I needed a little bit more yarn. I'm just going to, pick up the one that fell down. And I noticed that Mr. B was having a shop update. Now I already have one skein of Mr. B's yarn that is in my bag of yarn that I'm keeping for best, and I'm slowly coming to the conclusion that I need to open that bag up and use that yarn because it's not doing any good just sat there. But yeah, so I had a look at Mr. B's update and I managed to pick up these 3 skeins. They are just lovely, aren't they? So they're all Mr. B's Hiddleston 4-ply base. I love the names they give to their bases. If you've not noticed before, they name their bases after movie stars. So there's Tom Hiddleston. Who else do you have? I can't remember, but every time I see them it makes me smile. And Claire, I suspect you may have had something to do with that. So yeah, so these are the 3. This one is the, it's right there, right in front. I couldn't see it for looking. So that's the Slate colourway. This one is Midnight Fox, and another grey with some rusty speckles. And then this one, which I think is my favourite, and is possibly one of the most favourite skeins of yarn I have ever owned. This is Just Rust. I've seen a lot of Just Rust on Instagram and in people's podcasts, and I'm not surprised. So it's absolutely beautiful. Got all the different speckles in that. Well done, Mr. B's yarn. These are just gorgeous skeins, and I hadn't bought them to go together in a project, but actually they would make a really nice 3 skein project. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know whether to use them all together or to use them singly or as a couple. I just knew I had to have them. Really lovely. So yeah, so that's Mr. B's yarn, Mr. B. And Mr. B and Mr. B, again, I can't get my words out. Mr. B and Mrs. B, I suppose, Claire, they have a fabulous podcast along with Becky, who is Bexy Norms on Instagram. So they have the Bird Box UK podcast, I think it is. And that's definitely one of my favourites. If you haven't seen it and would like to watch a podcast that is full of fun, glorious yarn and gorgeous knitting patterns, then I highly recommend that one. So go check that one out. And then finally, I saw that this lady had recently opened an Etsy shop selling yarn. And I've been friends with Linda on Instagram for quite a long time now. She's another person who has got a really beautiful aesthetic. I'll put the links to all her online feeds below and you can go and have a look. But her photography is gorgeous. And she started a little while ago experimenting with yarn dyeing. And she's got a real gift for it. So I saw that she was having an update and I thought, in fact, I'd seen this skein of yarn on her Instagram feed and I thought, oh, I've got to have that. I love it. So I was lucky enough to be able to get a skein of it on her Instagram, from her Etsy shop. That is it. It's a skein of self-striping yarn in the Winteries colourway, and the dyer is Cinnabar Pink, lady called Linda. Love her branding as well. That's a gorgeous card. So this is the skein. Isn't that just lovely? Browns and blues. So that will be a skein of a pair of socks. It's kind of a skein that I might like to hold on to for a little while because I love looking at it so much. But again, it's another one that really should be used. Beautiful. And the skein came with a contrast skein for heels and toes. It's beautiful. This is called Firewood. Well, I should give you all the details actually, shouldn't I? So it's 100 grams, 425 metres, 465 yards. 75-25 superwash merino nylon. Yeah, lovely. Really like it, really like it. And Linda was lovely enough to throw in this beautiful mini skein. I know that I will be buying lots more skeins from Linda. She's got some other similar self-striping skeins in her shop at the moment, and they're just beautiful. So I'll put the links to that down there. I'm tempted to hide all this and not tell you because I want to keep all her yarn to myself, but that wouldn't be fair, would it? She needs to be known. So yeah, go and check out Linda of Cinnabar Pink. That's everything that's come my way. So I'm going to move on to having a chat about the Make 9 that we've got going on, and a new giveaway that's going to start in the new year, and a little bit of chat about Etsy. I've just got my show notes here, and that will be it. So first things first, the Make 9. So I can't believe that 2018 is coming to an end already. The Make 9 for this year has gone so well, and thank you to everybody who's participated. You now have less than a month to get as many of your 9 projects finished as possible. Get them posted in the FO thread. And if you have been wonderful enough to finish all 9 projects on your Make 9 grid, excuse me, then don't forget to post a finished picture of all 9 in grid format, because that will enter you into the final prize draw at the end of the year. We'll have 2 prize draws at the end or after the end of December. One for the current quarter, so one for finished objects drawn in October, November and December, and then another one for everybody who finished all 9 projects. So far, I know that there are some people who have put in their finished 9 grids. I think there are 2 or 3. I had a very quick look before I came down to record this afternoon. My progress has been mixed. I have completed about half of my projects, which would mean that I've knit 4.5 things. I can't quite remember actually how many I've done. It's round about 5, I think, 5 or 6. So it's been good. It's kept me focused for the year. I've knit lots of socks, and socks was one of my items on my grid. But yeah, it's been a good way to keep focused during the year. As I mentioned in an earlier podcast, I thought it would be fun to run this again next year, but with a slightly different focus. Instead of naming 9 individual patterns, what I think we will do for 2019 is have a grid of 9 again, but instead of, as I said, instead of naming 9 individual patterns, I would like us to name 9 types of things or techniques that we'd like to master during the year. So it can be a real mixed bag of things. So for example, you could say that you want to knit 2 shawls, 2 jumpers, 2 pairs of socks, 2 shawls, 2 jumpers, 2 pairs of socks, a hat. You want to learn and complete a project with brioche in it, and you want to learn how to fade and finish a project using the fade technique. So something like that. So what I recommend, if you want to take part again next year, and I think what we'll do is exactly the same format, so it will run for the year, we'll chunk it into 4 quarters, and we'll have prize draws at the end of all those 4 quarters, and then a prize draw right at the end of the year for anyone who's completed all 9. I suspect doing it this way, there might be more people who finish their 9, but we'll see. We might not have a half-year swap in and swap out projects, given that this is a bit freer for you and you're not limited to, or you're not tied down to particular patterns. You can change your mind throughout the year, but as long as you knit or crochet or sew even, actually. Why don't we say it's not just for knitting, but you can have crochet in there, you could have a sewing project in there, all that sort of thing. So what I'll do over December is to write up the new rules list, and I'll start a new thread in Ravelry, and then if you're interested in taking part, get your thinking caps on about what you'd like to knit throughout 2019, and we will run the Make 9 again. I'll put all the important things in the show, in the Ravelry thread, such as hashtags and all that sort of thing. And excuse me, when I record later on in December, I will hopefully by then have formulated a more specific plan and be able to talk about it a bit more then as well. Obviously, we'll need a lot of prizes during the year, so if anyone would like to donate a prize for next year, that would be brilliant. Had some really, really lovely prizes donated this year. People have been so kind. So a great, massive, massive thank you to everybody who donated during the year. It's really appreciated it, and it's made for some fabulous prizes, and I know that the recipients of those prizes have been delighted too. So that's the Make 9. Did I have anything else to say about that? I don't think so. Well, I just made a note of my show notes. There have been 203 finished objects, which is really good. The next cowl that I want to talk about is one that my lovely friend Caroline, who is Caroline Loves to Sew on Instagram and has the lovely Love to Sew podcast. Hi Caroline. She contacted me a little while ago and said, did I fancy hosting a cowl with her? And I said, absolutely. I jumped at the chance. And this is a really nice, straightforward, simple cowl that is to knit a hat. It will run throughout January. The only rules really are that you must knit, cast on and so you must cast on your hat in January and you must finish your hat in January. It should either be 1 adult size hat or 2 or more child hats. So something that's going to use up at least 50 grams of yarn. That can be any weight. It could be a fingering weight hat, DK weight, Aran weight, whatever you want. But as long as it's a decent sized project, then it can be counted. I've put together, or I have put together a bundle of my favourite hats in my Ravelry pages. I will link to that. I'm thinking of knitting either the quill hat by Andrea Mowry, or I was watching over the last few days the Hey Brown Berry podcast, and Martha's latest episode, she was wearing the most beautiful hat, and what's it called? It was called the Dustland hat, and that's a Stephen West pattern. Oh, it's just gone really dark here. I don't know if that's affecting the light. So Master's wearing the Dustland hat. So I might make that, but I've got a bundle of quite a few hats in my Ravelry favourites if you want to have a look to get some inspiration. Usual cowl rules apply, so there will be a chatter thread that Caroline will be hosting in her Ravelry group. I will host the FO thread. There will be prizes. We haven't quite talked about prizes yet, but I imagine what will happen is that there will be a prize for drawn from the chatter thread and a prize drawn from the finished object thread. It can be a knitted hat, a crocheted hat, either is fine, it doesn't matter. And I think that's about it. Just so cast on a new project in January, finish it by the end. And actually, even if you haven't finished it, if you've been chatting along in the chatter thread, you still will be entered for the prize. So the finished object threads obviously will have their own prize. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me just consult my notes to see if there's anything else that I should have said. I don't think so. So hopefully you'll enjoy knitting a hat in January with us. Oh, most important thing, the name of the cowl. So what we've decided on is the New Year Warm Head cowl. I'll put that on screen. So on social media, you can tag any photos that you post with that. So hashtag New Year Warm Head cowl. And that will be the name of the thread in our Ravelry pages, something around that. So look out for that. Right. One more prizey type thing to talk about. I haven't really thought this through very well, but what I have got here is a little prize package. Let me show you the individual items. You can hear it. So this is the seasonal bit of the podcast. I showed you this gorgeous bag. Oh, it's all very Christmassy around here. It's not. We haven't put any decorations up yet. We'll be doing that next weekend, I think. Not before, anyway. So, I showed you this beautiful bag that Anne from Busy Pottering. Yeah, Anne from Busy Pottering had very kindly donated to the podcast. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anne. It's got a lovely Santa on it, and there's a little treat inside as well. So I thought, can either keep this until next year to use as a giveaway next Christmas, or we can do one now. So obviously we're going to do one now, aren't we? So as well as Anne's beautiful bag and the little treat that she's put inside, I thought let's make this into a really lovely Christmas present for somebody. So I have pulled together some mini skeins from my stash. There's some that have gone into my blanket, and some from last year's Christmas advent calendar, actually, I think they are, from lovely Tracy of Nora George. So there's, I'm not sure how much yarn is there, but it's over 100 grams. So there's some, yeah, that's some nice minis there. Plus a little knitting notebook, just with some dotted pages, and tin of stitch markers. These are two things that I have put together myself. The stitch markers are, you can see, there are 40 stitch markers in there. There's 20 of the 20 of the bulb pins and 20 little, oh dear, can't get them out, there we go, 20 of the little ring markers, all in a nice little tin. I'm going to be putting these in my shop at some point. See what it says, Eldenwood Craft stitch markers. So I'm going to be putting those in my shop at some point, and I've also pulled together these notebooks. It says knit notes on the side, and my details there. I was really proud about these. I said a little while ago that I was teaching myself Illustrator because I want to be able to design some fabric, so I have my own fabric range. We're an awfully long way away from that still, but this was my first sort of attempt at getting something that I had designed in Illustrator printed. So I did these for the Knitty Retreat in Cardiff. I did a version of these for the Knitty Retreat in Cardiff, and I've got some others to go in the shop at some point, probably in the early part of next year. So that's your prize package. Anne's beautiful Christmassy bag and these little bits and pieces for me. Now, I've given no thought at all as to how you can win this. So thinking on my feet, shall we say that, so I'm recording this on Sunday the 2nd of December. It will hopefully upload either later tonight or on Monday the 3rd of December. To be in with a chance of winning, leave a comment below in the comment section telling me what your favourite Christmas tradition in your family is, something like that. Next Sunday, which will be the 9th, where are you, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th of December, I will randomly, I will pick a comment, sorry, this is tortuous, isn't it? I will pick a random winner from the comments that have commented about their favourite Christmas tradition, and I will reply to your comment. Yes. Oh, is that the right thing to do? So yes, I will. I tell you what I'll do. Sorry, really, as you can tell, I really hadn't thought this out. I will record a little video that I will put up next Sunday telling you who the winner is and to wish you all a Merry Christmas. So there we go, that's what we'll do. So leave your comment about your favourite Christmas tradition in the comments below, and I will pick a winner at random on Sunday. It might be when I'm still in my pyjamas, who knows. But I will film a very, very short video on Sunday next week telling you who the winner is, and you will receive this lovely pile of goodies. Right, almost there. Last thing I want to talk about very, very briefly is my Etsy shop. I had a huge update earlier on this week on Monday. Thank you to everybody who came by, had a look, bought something. As always, I really appreciate all the support that people give to my little small business adventure. It's such an important part of my life now, and I was having a conversation with my family over lunch about the fact that I just couldn't even imagine not having Eldenwood Craft in my life. It just makes me so happy. So thank you to everybody. There are still some bags left. There's a range of bags left. I've just brought a handful to show you. So there are some Foxy Notions pouches. We've got some of the bird bags. These bird bags were really what got me sort of, not well known, that's the wrong word, but it was 2 or 3 years ago that I had some of these for sale, and they really took off. So these bird bags I feel quite fond about. So there's a handful of those in the shop. We've got some of the Cloud project bags, shawl size and sock size. And there are 3 of the colour block bags. This is an example of one. That's my one that I use. I love that teal colour. I'll make some more of those. I've got a actually this is a project that I didn't show you. So it's a lace scarf that I have made absolutely no progress on since I last showed it to you. Anyway, so that's what the colour block bags look like when they are drawn together. So what I thought I would do to say thank you to everybody who has followed me this year and has bought something or has watched the podcast. For my lovely podcast viewers, I am going to give you a discount in the shop that will run throughout December. The coupon code that you would need if you're going to buy something to claim that 10% is Christmas 2018, and I'll put that on the screen. And yeah, so if you're interested in a project bag for yourself or as a gift for a knitty friend, and you want to make the most of that discount, then head on over to my Etsy shop. The link to that is in the description bar below. Excuse me, I will be spending December working on the sheet bags. I've already contacted this morning the people in the early 70s, so I will be making those throughout December. If you're in the mid to late 70s and haven't heard from me, then it will be a few weeks, but I will be getting to you as soon as I can. Right, that's about it. 45 minutes I've been recording. That's not too bad. I thought it might come in a little bit under that. All that's really left for me to say is to wish you a happy December. I hope you enjoy all your festivities that you're taking part in, if you're taking part in any. And we had our work Christmas night out on Friday. That was fun. In fact, so if I'm looking tired, I don't know if I am, if I'm looking tired today, the reason for that is I've had this stinking cold all week. We had a work Christmas party on Friday night, and then last night my husband and I went out for dinner because it's our wedding anniversary today, 2nd of December. We've been married 18 years, all of them happy. I don't know why you need to know that. There we go. So yeah, so it was we had dinner out last night that involved a few glasses of wine. So yeah, I'm a bit knackered really. Anyway, I was saying goodbye. I was trying to say goodbye. I'm never very good at that, am I? So have a happy December. Enjoy whatever it is that you get up to. I will be back. I'm expecting to be back in December. I'm hoping that I will be able to record an episode the weekend before Christmas. My husband's going to be away that weekend. That sounds bad. He's not away because he wants to get away from us for Christmas. He's going down to his parents' house to start off the Christmas festivities. Anyway, so I'll have a couple of days peace and quiet, and my daughter is going to be at a sleepover that weekend, so I really will have the house to myself, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'm planning on recording a pre-Christmas podcast then, so watch out for that, all being well. That's all for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give me the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any comments other than the comments for the giveaway or any questions, then just drop me a line, leave me a comment below, contact me through email or in the Ravelry group or via Instagram or via Ravelry direct message. However you want to, I'll find it. Anyway, let's say goodbye there. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you get plenty of crafty time, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Start that again. Cut.